When you say purity, people have different definitions, people have different, sometimes it's even misunderstood. How does one become pure? Does one become pure? How does one become pure?
What do you mean by purity? Purity in thought, purity in speech, purity in action. What I think is what I speak is what I do.
Very hard.
What it means, if I think good about you, I speak good and I do good.
Welcome back, viewers. We are continuing our conversation from part A. This is part B. We'll be talking about humanity. So I would read: purity, charity, solidarity bestows the human with superiority and supremacy. Sounds like a song.
Of course, it's written in a poetic way, and very important to note is superiority and supremacy. He's talking of excellence in terms of moral values, excellence in terms of moral behavior. So purity in the heart, charity in the action, solidarity means in the thought. You think of unitedness, oneness, togetherness.
Could it be the opposite? Because it says purity, charity, solidarity bestows the human with superiority and supremacy. Does that mean that it's your ability to be pure, to understand charity, solidarity? Could that be that these are the things, these are the components that makes you human, really, a superior and a supreme human?
It's exactly what you have said. So this is perfect.
When you say purity, people have different definitions, people have different, sometimes it's even misunderstood. How does one become pure? Does one become pure? How does one become pure?
What do you mean by purity? Purity in thought, purity in speech, purity in action. What I think is what I speak is what I do.
Very hard.
What it means, if I think good about you, I speak good and I do good. So imagine you put a discipline in yourself that I will always think good. So in all walks of life, you will not like to criticize anyone. You would not like to gossip. It means you can never speak bad because your thinking is good.
There's often a disconnect sometimes.
So that disconnect is impurity. I think something different about you and I then put a sugar coating and try to be extra sweet.
What if it's not intentional? What if it's not even coming from a bad place? What if it's even about you? Say you're thinking, oh my God, I want to be disciplined. I want to start eating right. I want to start doing all of these things. Okay, so that is attitude, not.
It will finally come to thinking only. Whatever way you want to do the mathematics or the jugglery.
It goes back to thinking and speaking. Perfect. So it says the longanimity is a quality of humanity, but it should be an alacrity to a crime.
So what he says
I
is
don't understand that at all.
It's a poetic way, and of course master's English is of another level. So the longanimity means ability to endure hardships. So ability to endure is a quality of humanity, but it should be an alacrity. Alacrity means promptness in response. So when there is a crime, something going wrong out of proportion, it is also our duty to respond to it. Not say, oh, it is not happening with me. It means I can stay cool. Or sometimes some people also enjoy other people suffering.
Why is there such an emphasis for endurance? I'm saying this because even in the Bible, I'm not quite sure what scripture, but in the Bible it also talks about endurance that leads to patience, that leads to hope. What is this about enduring? It feels so hard, so heavy.
See, endurance is a very important quality, first of all. Why? Because the game of life is not a linear curve. The game of life is a curve. You wanted the qualities of a big player. That's where you took a curve of exercise. The moment you do exercise, you said, oh, now my muscles are paining. Let me leave it. Then you will never become a good player. You have to endure the pain to come to a level of performance.
So no matter what you do, you can't escape.
You can't escape. So this endurance means because it is natural. Imagine I want to increase the acceleration of my car from 20 km to 100. What will happen? The tires have to endure because there is a friction against the road. It has to endure that friction.
Which brings us back to shortcuts, because we can give different examples. There are a lot of things that you can just bypass and just get to the result. Than somebody else spending time enduring, but we find out that one might be lasting than the other.
Yes, shortcuts are very painful and shortcuts sometimes are very expensive.
Very expensive.
So how? Let's imagine there is a car company and it gave an advertisement that this car can withstand a speed of 180 kilometers per hour. When the authorities came, they put a special tire which can endure. But due to cost cutting, they used the normal tire. Now in one of the cases, because the car took an acceleration of 150, the tires exploded. Now you have a very big problem from a brand perspective, and then you have to repel 2 million cars which you have launched in the market. So shortcuts are very expensive. Better you test the tire and use the same tire all the time. This is the case, you must have heard of the emission norms of one of the car. They said we have a very nice carbon footprint and our emissions are low. But finally they got caught in US and they had to repeal all their cars. So this is very important to note. Endurance. One has to endure difficulties to deliver good.
And I just want to say, and I think I've heard it from you a lot of times, even to the most mundane thing, you would say endure, enjoy. So whilst endurance might feel very heavy, very tiring, very routine based, it is important for you to enjoy the journey. Even the workouts, to say, oh, I want to lose this much weight, it is hurtful, it is strenuous, but I would enjoy the journey anyway, because there's a result I'm looking for.
And I will open up one more dimension to it, and you will feel very happy with this example. Because women are always interested in jewelry. So imagine you have an imitation jewelry and a jewelry of real gold. Sometimes it happens that the imitation is having more luster than the gold. But can it endure the time period? So what happens? The shine goes away. Then you say, okay, what do I do? Now I can't wear. But imagine the same gold jewelry, you expose it to more heat, you melt. It will become more pure, more lustrous. So endurance, for a person who is ready to keep patience and work hard sincerely, with more endurance, he shines more. But with a person who is interested in shortcuts, the endurance becomes a big problem. It becomes the cause of big frustration. So we should try to attain the natural quality of being a gold, that more pressure, more temperature, more shine. So we should never take difficulties. Oh, I don't want to take this difficulty because, I'm sweating, I'm not uncomfortable. But we should say that if we endure, that will bring the real talent within us.
I like that. So see yourself like that ornament, like that jewelry.
Yes.
And the more you're refined,
And ever valuable. If the gold was 100 years back, Now after 100 years back, it's still even more valuable. Why? The quality has not degraded over a period of time. It has endured the time period.
Ubiquitous supreme can be comprehended by means of meditation. The humanity of compassion is to be in practice through the behavior.
So I think this we have understood that
Self-explanatory.
yes, humanity of compassion is only in the behavior. Imagine I am giving big speeches on humanity.
And
But
then the action
in
is
practicality, I am not there.
I think we took that in part A
Yes.
as well.
But this important is the first sentence, the ubiquitous supreme means
Ubiquitous.
omnipresent, omnipotent. That is everywhere. You cannot know because we say God is everywhere. He is omnipresent. How he can be omnipresent? So that how is to be experienced. How you can experience? He says it can be experienced only in meditation. It cannot be experienced by speaking, by reading. It can be experienced in silent mind, where the mind is calm, silent, without thoughts. Then you will know what is that God which is omnipresent and how it is omnipresent. We have also gone in the previous paragraphs on consciousness. So it's the same, very linked to it, that the ubiquitous, that is the God which is ever present everywhere, you can comprehend by means of meditation, is what is writing. So if you link these two sentences, meditation, you can comprehend the ubiquitousness or the ever presence, and in the behavior it is the humanity.
Okay, I find that I kind of disagree a bit because God is, even the main mention of God, you can't understand or fully comprehend
Yes.
God.
Yes. Why?
I don't know. You can't. It's
I
true.
can tell you.
You can't
I can tell
comprehend
you.
God.
You can't comprehend, but can you comprehend me?
I don't think so too.
Can you comprehend my body?
I can try. I know the parts
Why?
of the body.
Because there is a dimension. You can see my body through your eyes in a two-dimensional format. You can touch me and you can see the physical presence. God you cannot see because he is not having a body like me. But does it mean he is not there?
No.
So electricity is there. We have so good luminous bulbs here. Bulbs you can see they are lighting. Can you touch the electricity? But does it mean the electricity is not there?
It's there.
It's there. So the God is everywhere, but if you want to see a physical form, because the mind has two aspects. One is the physical mind, which likes to see, touch, the two-dimension part, or the three-dimension part maximum. But the spiritual mind is the intuitional mind, which you can see not through your eyes, your physical eyes of dimension, but with the intuitional mind or the intuitional eyes. You can experience the God.
I think I'm more comfortable with the word experience,
Yes.
as opposed to comprehending God.
Okay.
People have different ways that they experience God.
Let me also tell you one limitation, because Master is writing and is a divine man. He also has a limitation.
Yes.
The limitation is words. Any word cannot give you the experience of that word.
You can't. Yeah, I don't even think there are enough words
Yes.
to say this is my experience with God. We're limited. We're human.
Like, no, as human also. Like imagine you have never tasted a sugar in your life.
I think you've used that example before.
So
then how
even
do
if
you
I explain in words,
you wouldn't understand.
You will say, no, what is it? I know how the turmeric tastes. Is it like turmeric? You will say no. Then you will say, okay, I know the lemon taste. Is it like lemon? I will say no. Then you will say, I have tasted guava. I will say it's not like guava. But can I explain? No, let's say the raw guava, not the ripe one.
Okay.
So can I explain which word I can use to explain you the sweetness of a sugar. It's the same thing in spirituality, experience. So you may do jugglery with English words, or in your local language. It can be Spanish or it can be local language like Hindi of mine or yours. But words have limitation to express the divinity.
Correct. Confession consoles the self. Amnesty is honesty, and humanity, amity is entity. Don't nap with hap, be happy with the sapiens.
So I think this is very important. What is confession? Confession means I did some mistake and I am truthful about that mistake. That is confession.
Do you know what comes to my mind a lot now since we started the book? Funny enough, I've said that I used to do these things before as a kid. But now, when I interact with people, right, or I go through an experience during the day, I find myself thinking about everything and saying, maybe I shouldn't have done that, or maybe I shouldn't have said that, or maybe I should have approached it differently. And I do what you've advised. I go back, I reflect and journal and say, maybe I should have been more patient, or maybe I should have said thank you to this person, or maybe. So I think that's like also self-confession, because I say you were a bit too hard. Maybe you should speak more softly, or you were. Or this person was mean to you, but maybe they're going through their own issues. So I think the whole journey of reading the book and going through the lessons subconsciously sort of helps you.
So one part is you have talked about reflection.
Yes.
You have talked about introspection. It is a meritorious tendency, first of all. This will help you to improve as a person. But there is one more level which he is talking of, confession. Confession means honestly you did a mistake.
Yes.
Which may be like very big problem. And your heart is saying, no.
That was wrong.
That was wrong. Now it does not allow you to be comfortable.
So don't just ignore that guilt. Because a lot of people do that.
Yes. Very right.
Actually, accept it and say, I made a mistake, I should apologize, I should make it right.
Sometimes it may be loss of face for you to apologize.
And I like that it says confession consoles the self, because let's be honest, when you actually open your mouth and say, I made this mistake, it relieves you.
Yes.
Whether the person forgives or doesn't forgive, it's just...
I'll give you an example. I have seen many cases where, and in email, you have marked, let's say, 15 people. A mistake is done by one. But he removes the chain mail and marks only to you as sorry.
Yeah, people do that.
You must have seen many times.
Right.
I have said sorry in front of all 15.
Okay, no, I don't know. I just say sorry to the person.
It requires courage, because when there was a mistake, they were also knowing it. Why can't you acknowledge in front of all? It requires courage. But it will give you a cool heart, a cool mind, that you are not in the world of calculations, what he will feel, what they will feel. You are clear to your heart, you sleep well.
I think that would also speak to the compounding effects, because just tiny bit of steps.
Yes, and no single person thinks the same way. Imagine, if you say sorry to 15, every person will think differently, because they will view you from all sides. But it takes a courage and a credibility. Yes.